Welcome to another Daemon Adventures gear review. This time what I've got for you is the 40-inch light bar from Lightfox. They recently reached out and gave us an opportunity to take a look at this product, give it our honest opinion. So we're going to be putting this on the FJ. Because you've heard it said before, lights before lockers, but yeah, we've already got lockers, so it's time to get some lights. So let's take this outside and we'll open it up. So Lightfox was nice enough to send out their 40-inch light bar, no cost to me. But that doesn't mean that I'm going to give you any less of an honest opinion. So very appreciative. But I figured, while we're setting this up, might as well use their approved wiring harness. So I went out and picked that up off of Amazon. I'll make sure to leave links for both of these in the description down below. But so we're gonna hook this up the way that they recommend with their lighting kit, their wiring kit. So let's open her up. There we go. Our LED light bar user manual here. So we do have some instructions here using their cabling and relay kit, which we have, assuming I got the right one, fingers crossed. And looking here, the light bar 40 is 32 amp, just so that you're aware. Warranty information, and it looks like this is generic manual for all of their light bars. You can see that you've got the 40-inch that we've got here. They also have a straight 40-inch and a curved 40-inch, 50-inch, 40-inch. Some installation information here for the multiple mounting options. We'll go over those in just a moment. Wiring details, warnings and cautionary points. Those are important. And packing list. So let's take a look. So we've got our, first we've got the customization options. Good news here is they've got some gray in here. They don't have green, but we can go with gray. Looks like that'll match the FJ pretty well. But for those that are specifically interested in those little highlights, we've got yellow, red, black, gray, and I believe that means that it should already have the pre-installed orange, which is Lightfox's standard color. All right, the light itself. So if we're hardwiring, that's on here, and it's got a connector that you can choose to use. Our selected wiring harness should make use of that directly, make the installation nice and simple. But in case you don't go with this wiring harness, you do get the bare wire, so you don't have to cut anything off, which is nice. As expected, you've got the orange highlights there. So we've got a single bar of LEDs. It's a decent weight housing. I'll see what that material is, but it's definitely anodized. And the bottom's got your locking channel here for your hardware if you're surface mounting it. We will be making use of these side posts. So taking a look at the details here, we are looking at an all aluminum housing with UV resin, dust proof, and a breather to eliminate condensation, which is good. So I can see around the edges where it's sealed with that resin that they reference. We'll see how that holds up over time, but I'm seeing any immediate issues. So the cabling looks like it's rated to 105 degrees C, 300 volts. It's relatively thick though, so depending on where you're going to be routing this, be mindful of that. Got a couple of options on how we're going to route the cable on the FJ. We'll go through that as we get closer to install. Let's take a look at this wiring harness here, make sure it's got everything that we need. So we actually have a 40 amp relay, so I did not get the right one. My intent was to be able to hook up 2. And unfortunately, it's also the wrong connector. It's just my luck. So I'm probably going to have to overnight the correct one just to make this easier on myself. But we can at least get this mounted up, have the cable run, and then when that wiring gets here, we'll get that replaced. That's my fault. All right, let's take a look at the mounting hardware, preferably without losing pieces again. All right, so got these for the surface mounting. We will be making use of these L brackets. It's going to be a little tight on the rotation. Hopefully that's not a problem for our wind fairing. Now, as per usual, we always have to deal with the fact that we still have the stock FJ roof rack, which is not great for mounting things too, right? So what we've done is we've picked up a wind fairing. We're going to mount this right to the roof rack. We're going to drill holes in this and mount the light bar right to it. So this should help us cut back on some wind noise and give us a nice solid platform to put the light bar on. All right, so we've got it installed on the truck, but we need to get that right wiring harness, huh? Of course, if I'd opened up the box before, we wouldn't have had that problem, but needed to make sure I opened it up on camera, right? All right, well, we're going to put this on order, and as soon as it gets in, we're going to wrap up the install, and then give this a good test out in the woods. Stick around. At this point, the relay is getting power, but the light is not. Well, the manual says nothing about an available wire harness. That's on me for assuming. But when you follow the instructions, well, what do you know? It works. So welcome back to our local testing grounds, the New Jersey Pine Barrens. So first impressions. When you follow the simple setup guide, everything works just fine. The mounting is solid, no noises or movement once it's tightened down, and the wiring with a standard relay works just as expected. What's interesting is this light bar has 2 circuits. Well, for our purposes, this doesn't really matter, but it does have a feature where it's got a DRL bar. So you can see very faintly on the left-hand side where that's lit. Unfortunately, I may have a defective unit. See if I can lower the exposure. You can really see there, half of it's not turned on. Not going to impact me in the slightest. Having that running as a DRL in the state of Delaware, or I think most states, that would get you pulled over anyway.
Now there's no way of knowing what happened. Could have been tortured in transit. The box was pretty banged up. That being said, I contacted Lightfox and they wanted to be sure I could show the light bar as intended and sent a replacement. With a 5-year warranty, I know anything like this would be handled similarly. The swap was easy and we were back to testing in no time. I also picked up a light meter so our testing could be extra scientific. My first test proved to be off because of the aiming, which is very important with this light. As you can see here, it's very directional. Now, a light bar in the daytime is of limited value to most. But of course, we needed to stick around and enjoy the forest until it got dark to show how this light bar really performs. I know the camera is not going to do this justice, but from 187 lux to over 870, and then up close, 130k lux, at night this light is absolutely blinding. I should have gone prepared with a laser distance finder or something to more easily measure my distance, but you can see here as I keep walking, the light just goes on and on. And as you can see, we still have some decent visibility all the way out that way. Going with one of the top brands, you can easily spend over $1,000 for a 40-inch light bar. At the time of this video, the Lightfox light bar is $289.99. Yes, there are cheaper, but I feel this hits a solid middle ground. I can't imagine a light bar being brighter, or at least the utility of it being brighter. With the addition of some cow lights for lateral vision, I think the price is of substantial value. Time will tell if it stands up to the beating of off-road use, but with a 5-year warranty, I don't think you have much to lose. I know my cow lights I buy will be from Lightfox as well. Just one last thing to do here, and that's get out on a proper ride.